One thing I've learned after having a few project cars is that the car spends more time on jack stands than it does on the road. And that's because when you plan to do one thing, it leads to 9 to 10 other things, and before you know it, your to-do list is longer than a CVS receipt. I've been working on the Beat on and off for about 8 years, and most of the mods were done within the first 6 months of owning it, and to be honest, they were done quite poorly. Over the last several months, I've been slowly taking things off the list to complete the build, like making a custom widebody kit and redoing some things like the turbo manifold. In the last video, I redid the intercooler piping and bolted in the 3D printed intake plenum and took it for a test drive. The motor made a bit of blow-by, which isn't totally uncommon for this motor, but it's more than I remembered, so I took it back to the garage and did a compression test. All 3 cylinders were at 70 psi, which is much lower than the 200 psi the service manual states. And a lot of you guys recommended I do a leak down test, so I did that and it came back with relatively good results. So I don't think anything internally is fried yet. Then for S's and G's, I checked the timing belt. My thought process is maybe the belt skipped a tooth and the valves are slightly ajar, resulting in the same low compression numbers for each cylinder. It doesn't explain the excessive blow-by, but I figured it doesn't hurt to check. And just as I suspected, it's a tooth off. Or maybe I'm just hoping this is a reason because I don't know what else could be wrong. Since I have no idea when the timing belt was last replaced anyway, I'm just gonna swap it out. But before taking on a job this size, I'd like to warm up with an easy task first. When I took the Beat for a test drive, the clutch felt a little spongy. So I'm gonna replace the fluid because it's pretty janky and bleed the system too. Since my best friend is busy taking care of our baby, I picked up this vacuum bleeder kit so I can do it all by myself. And that feels much better. While I have the vacuum bleeder set up, I might as well bleed the brakes too. The fun thing about this car is that it never came in the US, so you have to be creative if you want to modify anything. Which also happens to be the same reason why it's not fun. It's a balance, I guess. Shortly after I bought the car, I found out Civic brakes and Volkswagen rotors are a huge upgrade to the factory front brake setup, and it's been almost 8 years since I did the swap, so the fluid could use a change. Now that's all done, let's start changing the timing belt. First thing is to take the valve cover off, and while it's out of the car, I thought I'd just clean it up a bit since it had a lot of grime on it. After I replace the timing belt, I probably won't have another reason to remove the valve cover again, so I might as well just make it pretty while it's out of the car. I quickly prepped the valve cover and sprayed it with wrinkled black paint, and it's a great day outside, so I'm gonna let it bake in the sun. And while that's baking, I could get back to the timing belt. When taking the old timing belt off, I read it's always recommended to replace the water pump when doing the timing belt service. And with the extra heat coming from the turbo, it's probably a good idea to refresh the whole cooling system entirely. So I'm gonna swap out the water pump, thermostat, and throw in an upgraded radiator too. Since I'm under the hood, I'm going to 3D scan the area because I've been meaning to redo the strut tower bar and design some extra braces to keep the chassis from flexing from all the crazy horsepower. The Einstar Vega has been my go-to scanner these days. Since it's so compact, I don't have to set up my laptop, and I reach for it pretty often and find an excuse to make something custom. Luckily, the sponsor of this video, PCBWay, helps bring my ideas to life. Not only do they make PCBs, they also have CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding services. PCBWay has so many materials to choose from and a variety of finishes and post-processing options, so you can make sure the parts fit your exact specifications. Make sure to use the link in the description to get a quote for your next part. Thank you PCBWay for sponsoring this video. With the new cooling system bits complete, I threw on the new timing belt and gave it a few cranks to make sure all the timing marks still line up. And luckily, it looks like everything is good to go. While I was under the car buttoning everything up, I noticed the ugly rear suspension arms I made. These are a Frankenstein of Civic and Accord arms that I modified to work on the Beat around the same time I did the front brake upgrade. After I had these mounted up, I used the measurements to make custom sets for other Beat owners with proper Heim joints and beefier DOM tubing, but I never got around to making a set for myself. So since I have a few hours until the valve cover paint is cured enough to handle, I might as well just make a set of arms. I forget how the song goes, something like boop boop bop boop. That looks way better. The valve cover paint is cured and I'll throw it on and start the car to find out if I did everything correctly. While I was installing this, one thing that was still lingering in the back of my mind is the blow-by issue that kind of started all of this. After a little bit of research, I came across this video from High Performance Academy, and long story short, a bit of blow-by seems to be normal after adding the turbo. And like I mentioned before, these motors generally have a lot of blow-by originally, so with that knowledge, plus the good leak-down test results, I think the engine is still good. But to help mitigate the blow-by smoke, I'm adding this catch can to see if it helps a bit. I'm not going to route it into the intake because I want to minimize any chance of oil accumulating in the motor. So I'm just going to add this little filter on the exit port. And with that installed, let's start the car and take it for a test drive. It's a shame I don't drive this car as much as I used to because it's so much fun. And I never get tired of hearing the compressor surge. The catch can did cut down on the amount of blow-by smoke, but there's still a little bit under boost, but I think it's a reasonable amount. It's a bit squirrely in the back because the new suspension arms need to be adjusted. I'll probably do a DIY alignment to get it close enough, then take it to a shop to dial it in. Overall, the car feels a little more responsive than before, so maybe replacing the timing belt did help a bit. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe as always. Thanks for watching.